Welcome, Nation's Corner family. It is a special edition of Nation's Corner on location. We have a very special interview tonight. Ashley Stevie from Kaiju Pro Wrestling is going to be joining me in just a moment out of Bristol, Connecticut. So we're going to talk a little indie wrestling and get acquainted. So I'm going to bring Ashley on right now.
Hello.
Welcome. How are you tonight?
Good. How are you? Happy Monday.
I'm great. Yeah, happy Monday. So you have an upcoming show for Kaiju Pro Wrestling in Bristol, Connecticut called Heatwave Havoc. Before we get into that, just a couple questions so that people get familiar with you and who you are and your promotion. Number one thing that, everybody always gets asked in every interview, how did you become a wrestling fan? And then also, what brought you into being a promoter and having your own show?
Okay. So easy answer for how I got into wrestling. I'm not a wrestler. I'm not like somebody who did anything famous. I am just somebody that I, as an adult, found wrestling through bonding with my now ex-husband, but just trying to find something in common. He really liked wrestling. I started watching it, and it was like fishing, hook done,
Yeah.
gone. And I never turned back. And as far as getting involved like in the indies and becoming a promoter, honestly, I love helping people, and I'm really, really, really passionate about pushing people to be their best.
Okay.
And when it comes to running a promotion, like to me, that is in this business the place you can do that the most.
Right. Right. It's always interesting to me to follow up on that. You said you found it as an adult because of your ex. It's interesting to me. I also got into wrestling as an adult, and that's uncommon because so
Yeah.
many people, are fans since they were kids because of their parents or grandparents and they grew up with it. I started watching because of a friend of mine that I spent a lot of time with in my 20s. And he was basically like, if you're hanging out at my house, we're watching wrestling on Mondays and Fridays, and that's it.
Yep. Yep.
So, and for me, kind of, there wasn't one like hook, line, and sinker type of deal. It was kind of gradual over a period of years that I was just watching wrestling with my friends through my 20s, and then eventually became a diehard fan.
Right.
But it's interesting to me to meet people who found it in adulthood as well, because it's not that
No.
common.
It's not. And
Yeah.
you know what's funny is do you notice also that like because we haven't been fans for decades yet, kind of remember things a little bit better than other people. So like when I bring up something that people don't realize is like really old school, they don't understand. Like I hyper fixated all through the history of wrestling in 4 years. Like
Yeah.
it's up there and it's fresh, which is something that helps me with writing the shows now. Is that a lot of the things I would want to see again or would want new people to see that might help hook them in, it's
Yeah.
still fresh. So it's like I still have that fresh catalog. It's not I don't have to go back and rewatch it. Um,
Yeah.
I do have to ask you though, like
Mhm.
who was the person in professional wrestling that hooked you? Like who was the first person
Um,
you were a real fan of?
I'd say the first person I was a real actual fan of
Mhm.
was probably, so I always say The Rock, because like The Rock is someone that everybody knew even if you weren't a
Yeah.
wrestling fan. So that was kind of the person that made me interested. But when I first started watching, he wasn't there at the time.
Mhm.
Um, so then on the other hand, like the first active wrestler that I remember watching that I really loved was honestly Dean Ambrose, and
Okay.
it coincided with CM Punk as well.
Okay.
I recently looked back in my old t-shirts that, like, I have a Dean Ambrose shirt and I have a CM Punk shirt, and I couldn't remember which one I bought first. And I think it was the Dean Ambrose shirt.
Okay.
So so
That's
I can
fair.
I can say that the Dean Ambrose t-shirt was the first wrestling shirt I ever purchased, and now, oh my god, I have a closet full. I honestly have probably 350 wrestling shirts.
See, that's awesome. I can't keep a collection that high. I would go insane. But I was a hook, line, and sinker for Balor Club.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I got you on that one for sure.
Somebody like
Um,
Lego, I was even more sunk. I was done.
yeah. Yes. Yeah, it's interesting when like not a lot of people became fans during that era. So many people are like Attitude Era and before. So yeah,
Hmm.
that's interesting to me. And I recently, as a lot of people have been talking about like the indies and other stuff coming about like in this boom period that we're at, I've kind of realized over the last year or so that my fandom is like more engaged with the indie stuff,
Yeah.
that
Same.
I enjoy the indie stuff sometimes more than TV wrestling and certain styles, and that's where I gravitate towards. And that's kind of why I say like when I first started watching that it was more of a gradual
Yeah.
becoming a fan, because I think that was kind of the time when WWE creative maybe wasn't so good at times, so like there wasn't always a lot of stuff to really get me hooked. But yeah, since I'd say since 2019 2020 that I became more aware of the indie scene and everything boomed, it's made my fandom so much bigger, so much.
I believe it. I believe it. Because honestly, like I feel the same way. Like I can watch pay-per-views and usually call it. And I'm like, oh
Mm-hmm.
no. I was like, when I call it, I have to
Yeah.
take a break, like a good 6 months away from like mainstream. Don't watch anything. Like let it kind of chill out mentally so that I
Yeah.
can go back to enjoying it. But like now I've taken a long enough break from like WWE and AEW stuff that if I sat down and
Mm-hmm.
actually started watching again, I'd have to be like, okay, now I have to kind of learn where they are in their stories.
Right.
Um, and I feel like that's like the indies doesn't do that because everybody
Right.
usually tweaks their gimmick per where they're working. So if you just want to see somebody in a different light, you just go to a different company.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So kind of along the lines of, being in the indies, working in the indies, it's rare to see a female promoter. So this question is twofold. As a female promoter, what are some challenges you feel that you face? And then on the flip side, do you feel you have any advantages as a female promoter?
Okay. Okay. Um, Disadvantages, I think it's definitely a lot of it is mentality. I
Mm-hmm.
think, I mean, luckily there are more female promoters, like kind of up in the focus of things. Like I definitely don't think I was the first. I will definitely never
Right.
be the last, but
Oh, yeah.
I'm happy to see the sisterhood growing. And I feel like the hardest part when I got started was the only reason why people listened to me was because I had three male business partners. And so I was originally there to make sure the women and anybody who did not fit into a traditional role had a safe person to go to. Like I was almost like an HR
Right.
department. So as I took over things, like I always felt like that was the biggest issue was trying to get people to take me serious as the booker because I am nice, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a pushover. And I
Right.
think it took a long time and a few examples for that to finally be clear. But I also think that's an advantage because people do feel comfortable coming to me. Like I have people on the roster that when they're going through something personal, they'll like reach out to me, or I see something happen. Like if I see they got in a car accident, like I'll reach out to them and say, hey, just want to make sure you're okay. They
Yeah.
know that coming from a genuine place because that's who I am. So I think the advantage to that is because they expect me being a woman and being nicknamed Mama Kaiju to be, more soft and nurturing. So I do think it does help, especially when a lot of the people I communicate with are not face to face. So I think it does bridge that. Like they realize I'm going to be more empathetic to their situation. And I'm also a lot more balanced. So I think just like they feel with the way I run things and that I'm very transparent, I think they're able to trust me a lot easier. So I do think that's a huge advantage.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I can see that just as a woman that oftentimes, people are more comfortable talking to us because they
Hmm.
feel like, we have that empathy. Um but yeah, I can definitely see that sometimes you kind of have to put your foot down and be a little more aggressive.
Hmm. And they get, and I always give a warning, like
yeah,
everybody. Like on show day, it used to be, everybody watching me tear my hair out and going, what can we do to help? And now it's like, I'm always calm. And they're like, why? And I'm like, because
yeah,
you all know that if I'm calm, it's fine. Like if
yeah,
I'm panicked, there's a problem. Um, and so like, and it took time to build that and trust and
yeah.
things like, people refer to me for interviews and they refer to me. I even do, I'll do letters of recommendation to other promoters.
That's
If they're
awesome.
if they're not sure how they feel about booking somebody, a promoter can always reach out. If that person's worked for me in any way, shape, or form, I will give them an honest
Yeah,
and confidential review of the person's performance and how they were in the locker room. And I'm okay with that because I would love the same.
yeah,
Simple.
yeah, yeah. I would agree with that. All right, so yeah, here in Nation's Corner, all of us in our group, we have a wide array of diverse people from all over the country that we're just one big happy family. But we're all big supporters of indie wrestling. We push indie wrestling constantly. It Indie wrestling is just kind of the best bang for your buck as far as live entertainment value, especially for kids, families, just
Hmm.
being able to have a night out. So tell us more about Kaiju Pro Wrestling and what the shows are about and what fans can expect to see when they come to one of your shows.
Ooh, okay. So, definitely the key is, and I know this term gets used a lot these days, but I truly mean it. My program is PG. It is family friendly. Um, the goal with what makes Kaiju Pro Wrestling different is most productions have long-term storylines that they've already started on. Um,
Mm-hmm.
they may only get to bring in a handful of people. I designed Kaiju to kind of be like Wrestling 101.
Okay.
I write Memphis style. The stories are quick. We don't have like 3 or 4 year runs and things like that. Like typically everything is wrapped up in that one season, which might only be 4 shows total. So we have very
Okay.
fast paced storylines. Um, Honestly, every single defense, and I can't say this enough because Tiffany Avatar does defend the Phoenix Division Championship like everywhere she goes. I gave her and Corey full permission. They can put those titles on the line if they feel confident. Go for it.
Mm-hmm.
If that's going to make your match even better, then that's fine. But they are legitimate defenses. So if they put it on the line and they lose it, they're not champion anymore. They're at the back of the line and they're starting over. So they really like, I give them something to invest in. And I like to think I do that with the whole roster. It does translate to our crowd as far as you feel it in the stories. Like you
Mm-hmm.
leave engrossed. Like we don't usually have a quiet match going on. Um, we also make sure that we want it to be an A+ show from the start. And a lot of that is because that's our gift to the crowd for coming. As far as families go, I do try to make it affordable. I am a single mom myself. I am a one income household, and every extra penny I have goes to running a company right now. So I am working on becoming an actual legal entity as far as a nonprofit charity, which would be
Okay.
excellent because that is our way of giving back to the community. I can do fundraising for the Bristol
Mm-hmm.
community and surrounding areas. I can do, lower when you're a parent, you want to do a birthday party for your kid, but that stuff's like a few $100s.
Mm-hmm.
I run the option for a birthday party at the show because I have a
Oh,
big
that's
enough
cool.
rental hall to be able to do that and give the kids their own section and their own seating section and a meet and greet. Um,
Yeah.
but I do that because I'm a mom and I've had to be there where I'm like, how am I going to pull this off? I also structured our website so that people can kind of prepay their day, is what I call it,
Okay.
where you can pre-order your pizza because we always have the same kinds. You could pre-order your drinks, your merch from Kaiju,
Wow.
because I make all of the merch, even the t-shirts and everything. They're pressed by me. The
Mm-hmm.
hats, same. I make the spicy relish from scratch in small batch. Yeah, and I can it and everything. And that's my
Wow.
contribution into Kaiju. I donate all the money I make from those back into the company. So I recycle. Same
Okay.
thing with anything I would make. out of the company. I recycle back in towards moving the company forward.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that you can go in, literally put everything in the cart, even if you're bringing kids, or say you want to send grandpa with the kids, but you don't want grandpa blowing all of his money because the kids
Right.
are going to milk them dry. Or you don't have cash. That's fine. You can go online, you can order everything. We'll put it through and we'll have it waiting for you when you get there, and you can do it all under one charge. You can
Wow.
I also take Afterpay because I've also been there, especially around the holidays when money gets tight and you still want to do things with your family, but at
Oh
the same
yeah.
time you don't want to stress out. So you can do like pay in for, and you can kind of treat yourself without having the anxiety behind the financial side, because the world is rough right now.
Oh yeah.
So just trying to make it as easy as possible for people to come out and actually relax and have fun. Um, the majority of our crowd that come to the live shows, a lot of our fans are not in Connecticut. They're actually from where we started in New Jersey, and
Okay.
down in the South. So they do watch a lot of our YouTube stuff. We are not monetized yet. So if people would like to go subscribe, that would help. Um, but the local crowd is usually all brand new wrestling fans, like kids who have never seen live wrestling before, people that have
Yeah.
never seen indie wrestling before. Um, so that's what thrills me to do this for Bristol, because I'm also bringing in new talent so that promoters can see who, they can kind of get a preview, get a local
Yeah.
interview in there. I'm all for it. That's my contribution in. I'm not running a school. So at least I can be
Yeah.
a really cool place you can come work, and you don't have to feel like you have to be there every single show to earn a spot.
That's awesome. That's awesome. In so many ways, I think just for fans to be able to go, be able to prepay stuff, so you don't have to worry about it that day.
Yep.
And I love when I go to indie shows and there's kids in the crowd that you can see like the joy that kids have actually being so up close to the action. Like
Hmm.
if you're going to TV wrestling, you're oftentimes way up
Oh,
in the
yeah.
nosebleeds, if unless you can afford a really really good seat. And there's no interaction with the wrestlers. You're mostly not
Yep.
meeting them. You're mostly not even getting close enough to be able to take a picture of them. And I love when I see kids be able to not only meet the wrestlers but interact and just have a really good time, like up close in the action. Kids love that. Kids absolutely love being up close
Hmm.
and being involved.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, and
It's
honestly,
so
like,
great.
one of my favorite things is when I'm booking, we have a very large group of little girls that are starting to come to the shows, and that makes me
Awesome.
so happy because, like, I have Elle Valentine, and, like, the last show I had Elle Valentine versus Cosmic, which, first of all, was an amazing match I cannot believe had not happened already, and it was an honor to book it, but the little like, everybody was hooked. So, like, I'm giving an outlet to where people are just coming out, like, it's not a typical women's match. Like, I do intergender wrestling. I leave it up to the talent to tell me if they're not comfortable. If they're not comfortable, I'll book it a different way, or we'll swap it with something else. But I think that's
Right.
part of it, is like the fan base are feeling the genuine passion from the talent, and and they just charge off of it. And I live for it. I will smile. I'll be tired after a show, but I'll be smiling for days because
Yeah.
I know there's kids that are like Tiffany Avatar. Literally sold T-shirts the last show, and I was getting pictures for days that the kids were just, they wouldn't take the shirts off, and I'm like,
Oh,
that's
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 so
what we do it
cool.
for. That right there.
That's so cool. All right. So, the show you have coming up on the 27th,
Mhm.
in a couple weeks. Um, so I don't know if you want to kind of run down the whole card or just, what the big matches are.
Yeah.
So yeah, tell us about the show that you're going to put on.
Okay, so this is actually a very big story point. I haven't gotten to do very many of those yet because we were building kind of irrationally for a little bit with the way
Hmm.
the world was kind of going financially.
Yeah.
Um, but this happens to be a very big card for me. Heatwave Havoc is just woof. Um, the biggest matches that I would say are definitely honestly, they're not even usually our championships, but um, Social Influence, are now world tag team champions, are in for a big surprise because they've kind of had it easy this whole time. The last show they fought the
Hmm.
other two champions, and They won the main event spot. And of course, I'm already getting 24-hour phone calls from those two, annoying the heck out of me about the next show and all the extra things that they need to get to show off. I'm like, I wish they didn't win at this point. So I was like, okay, well, how am I going to make this, less aggravating for me? Oh, you know what? I'll put them up against Kid Lothbrok and Sammy Chaos, the Beast of Chaos. You know what? That's why I made that tag team at Kaiju. They're my gatekeepers. So if social influence really wants to keep pushing buttons and not following rules, then they might not be tag champions, because that's going to be a pretty hard set to beat. It's going to take a miracle.
Yes, and I'm familiar with Kate, of course, and Sammy Chaos. I've seen her many times.
Oh, I love Sammy. Is terrifying. Like,
yes,
she's terrifying. I don't know why women keep going, I want to fight her, and I'm like, you have a death wish. That's fantastic. Corey Jackson and RJ Root is another. That was a fan requested match for quite a while. A lot of it was scheduling. RJ Root is a local to Bristol. I think it's amazing that we have somebody so incredibly talented. Wrestling Open has been killing it for the longest time with him, and I'm so excited he's joining us. That does put Corey in a position, though, because I mean, if RJ gets a big enough crowd behind him at the show, I mean, that's going to be quite a push to want to beat and take that title away. And then Corey's driving 5 hours back to Syracuse with no title. Yeah. And then the title is going to be local on top of it. So, like, that's a lot on stake. So I think Corey's ready for it. That man has grown professionally over the last year to a ridiculous degree, and I'm so happy for it. So this is going to be really exciting, because it's one of those situations where this show, I'm kind of excited for all of the championship matches, but at the same time, I own the company and I really don't want my belts to move. But I also I book the matches intentionally where, like, if they were to lose the belt, would I be upset?
Right.
So honestly, let's put it this way: if I'm giving you a title shot, Stan Styles, you had one last year. If you take that title, I'm not going to argue. I have a new champ. I'm going to advertise you. We're not going to strip this, and I'm going to rework an entire storyline. Scrap it, put it in the garbage, and let's go. The other one is Tiffany Avatar and Dajé Simone. Dajé is another local here in Connecticut. She works at Paradise Alley, Test of Strength. She works at Tattoo. She works everywhere out here. What I will say about Dajé is they had this match in 2022 when we had our first show here in Connecticut. That was our first women's match ever, our women's singles match. And Dajé only didn't win. I'll admit this now, because I'm no longer in this position. I was GM at the time. I did screw over Dajé pretty hard, and I made sure Tiff got her pin. And then the belt came out, and ever since then, Dajé is like, I want my rematch. I'm owed, and I don't play unfairly anymore. I learned to be nice. So I told her a couple months ago, I said, you're up. It's your turn. Tiffany's advanced so far in her career in the last 2 years, and so has Dajé. Like, I've seen both of them have climbed so many mountains, and the best thing I could do is, give them one hell of a good spot and let them work their magic. And so I'm excited for that one. And then I'm 100% going to be excited for this, because I finally have Brian Bayside from Focus Pro finally debuting down here. And unfortunately, the short end of the stick on that one was Pete Corvus, because they're going to be wrestling in a Legos match.
Oh, wow.
I said I'm family friendly. I can't have thumbtacks if I'm family friendly.
True. Right.
But every parent is going to go, when that bag comes out. And I will be honest, Bull Dread, local legend here, Bull Dread is our referee general. And when I told him the lineup and that Corvus was going to be wrestling on Legos, I don't think I've heard an Italian laugh so diabolically. Because he knows he's the one that's in charge of putting those Legos out. So he's way too excited to torture poor Pete. But I am proud to announce that after this, if Pete does survive and pin Brian Bayside on the Legos, I am allowing him to keep his title shot against Corey in September. So he'll finally get that title shot he's been working to for about a year now.
Wow. Very good. Legos are not pleasant.
No. No. Thankfully, no blood, but lots of pain still. So I have to keep it
Yes.
interesting for the parents. Um,
Yes.
so yeah, it's definitely gonna be a very fun show. I try to keep it very fun and interactive. Pro
Mhm.
Wrestling Magic came up and killed it with Blazing Saddles, and this time it's just Kaiju. So now we have to go back and turn the heat up to, even higher because we're not sharing the spotlight this time.
Yeah.
So we'll see how
Yeah.
everybody shows off.
All right. Well, I am going to just pop the graphic up on here real quick.
Perfect.
For Heatwave Havoc coming up on the 27th in Bristol, Connecticut. So, where can people find you and Kaiju Pro Wrestling on the socials?
Okay, so we are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, we are on YouTube. Super easy. If you want to buy tickets or just even look into what the company is doing, our website, honestly, Google Kaiju Pro Wrestling, we come right up our square site. Like I said, it is a one-stop shop on there. You can also contact us. Everything email-wise comes directly to me. Same thing with social
Okay.
media. If you have questions, please reach out. We don't shy people away from that. Some keys about the venue: it is wheelchair accessible. It is on a one floor, so there's no stairs. And I also do carry audio sensitivity equipment. So if any kids or adults do have an audio sensitivity, they can come over and grab like earplugs from us. I also carry some headphones just in case you need it. So we do take care of people with disabilities to the point where if you let us know, we can try to accommodate it.
All right. That's really awesome. That's good to know. All right. Well, is there anything else that you'd like to add before we wrap up here?
Just check us out. I mean, realistically, Kaiju Pro Wrestling, we were doing show by show for the last 2 years. This is the first year where we just dumped all the dates out and said, let's do this.
Hmm.
So honestly, having that support as we're getting ready to become a nonprofit would just mean the world. So honestly,
Yeah.
if people just pay attention, I have a lot of announcements coming out over the next week. But Kaiju's been through so much already this year, and we've only had 2 shows. So stay
Wow.
tuned. We still have 3 more to go.
All right. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me tonight. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Same. I hope to come back, and anytime you guys have questions, I'll be here to help out.
All right. Absolutely. Have a great night.
You too.
Thank you. All right. Well, that was Ashley Stevie from Kaiju Pro Wrestling. And check us out on Nation's Corner on all the socials. You can find me at That's So Debonair on Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram, all that stuff. Thank you for joining me.